Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing well there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great, and I appreciate you stopping by. The Miami Dolphins, they are getting set for a matchup against the New York Jets. Programming note for everybody out there, Game Day Uncensored will come your way at 3 p.m. on Monday, so we will have a day broadcasting live from the Kaseya Center for Miami Heat Media Day. We will also get into the Dolphins trying to get their first win of the season. Today, a couple of wins from the AFC East teams. Easy wins for both of those teams. As I record this right now at about 5 p.m., we had a blowout win by the New England Patriots, who took care in their matchup today of the Carolina Panthers, who will be the Dolphins' opponent next week. They beat them 42-13. Really put it on them. Carolina, not a very good football team, but the Patriots today put it on them. They win 42-13, and then on the other side of the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, they took care of the Saints. They're 4-0 now. Buffalo's probably minus a gazillion to win the division as we speak right now, but not a lot of surprise. And I think that is, look, from where we stand right here going into this Monday night game, catching Buffalo already seems just like an absolute, crazy hill to climb. The Dolphins just need to get off the canvas as it is. But you talk about the Patriots, who you're already behind. Both of these teams have already lost to their division opponents. So they're both not only looking for their first win, they're looking for their first division win. It just feels like there's so much on the line this week. Monday Night Football. Justin Fields is going to be back for the New York Jets. Has been, we talked about this before I went on vacation this weekend about Tua and the whole Cam Newton thing, and how you knew that was going to be a thing. And then I saw a lot of people trying to walk it like, oh, he said it out of context. And guys, this was kind of my point when it happened. It's like, yeah, I know when we discuss this, but like, Tua's been in the media game enough, and he's had a lot of his stuff dissected enough that he probably you either want it to be a thing or you know how to neutralize it. And for the most part, Tua's just going to say straight from what's the heart. And there's definitely a party that's got to respect that, but there's also, I think, times where you got to realize, oh man, here's a dead fish getting thrown in my lap. Let me get this out of here. Let me not try here and explain why there is a dead fish sitting here in my lap. Because I do think that there was plenty of stuff in there where you're like, all right, well, that's honest, but, at least he's acknowledging it. Like, he did acknowledge him having to be better. We talked about this in the reaction to it, but I knew when that clip happened, I'm like, dude, that's going to be Bleacher Reported and cut up and memed all over the place. And you just gave Cam Newton and Stephen A. Smith their first segment on Friday. And good. Great. Now, the pressure's on even more. But I want to get to non-offensive stuff because we know what that is as it is already. Although I did see that Jonas Savaitanaya getting some work with Teron Armstead. I like that. I like that the rookie is doing that. I love what Kenneth Grant was saying this week. I was reading from him in the Palm Beach Post about, he's been playing a little bit too robotic and that he needs to be a monster in this upcoming game. And that comes off the heels of Anthony Weaver giving this like really, impassioned plea to his defense, basically through the media. And it was really the message of it was that he wants his team to play with some more violence, that he's tired of them all basically playing within their system and trying not to step on toes or making anything happen. And this was Anthony Weaver. This was the end of his plea about just bringing more violence to the table as a football team.
Whether it's takeaways, stopping the run. Like, I'm old school. I may sit up here, I'm a nice guy, I smile, I do all those things, but all of our problems that we need to solve can be solved through violence. Yeah, they want to legislate it out of the game. But we play defensive football. And in defensive football, at some point, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to stick my helmet under this guy's chin, and I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to violently take the ball away. And And that's what we need to do. With a steely-eyed focus, with resolve, with resiliency, and we're going to stop people. And I'm determined, we're all determined for that to happen.
Oh, man. What a breath of fresh air this guy is, you know? Like, I really, like, look, his team may, you know, turn into Swiss cheese tomorrow yet again. But, oh, God, did I love hearing that from him. I mean, I was like, whew. I got the goose. And look, is some of it performative? Is some of it like, hey, if they lose this game, I want to be the guy that the team or the franchise looks to as a leader? Maybe some of that. But I felt it to be genuine. I don't feel him to be I don't feel Anthony Weaver to be a bullshitter. You know, I feel him to be a genuine guy. Because he says that, like, yeah, he does kind of play the even keel, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. But always like look to him, he's like, yeah, he seems like he's got great sideline presence, that he's got some knowledge of it. People seem to have a high opinion of him around. Even when I heard Mike McDaniel's response, he's like, oh, that's good. Even Mike McDaniel, who, you know, could ruin anything with his mumbling and stumbling, he was just like, love it. That's good. Let's more of that. I like that. That's good. You know, so like they could just kind of follow along and go with that. And I just think that's what everybody wants to hear right now with the Miami Dolphins. Like, they're in a spot where, yes, they have a lot of young guys. Because this press conference even started off like, you know, like, did you bring any concerns? It goes, what does it matter? Like, of course I would want more talent. You know, I just thought it was answers. So I was like, yeah, of course I would want more talent. It's not my job. My job is to coach the players that I have to the best of their abilities. You know, I'm supposed to make a dinner with the groceries is the way I believe he put it. And, you know, to just be in this place of the Dolphins, like, yeah, they haven't. This was supposed to be a defense that he did break down as to the reasons why it wasn't, you know, because of the guys who are injured that are back. There's just not a lot of familiarity and trust around that defense, right? And you got these young guys that they're trying to bring along. You got a guy in Zach Sealer who is basically the guy on the line right now. Every defense trying to key in on and neutralize and take out. And obviously he's got the pressure of a big deal that he has not lived up to thus far. Weaver did say that he believes that he will, and that he'll come into his own and get to the numbers that are there. He's got time to do that. But his team just hasn't had the impact plays. And in fact, it's had the opposite. It's not only not had impact, but when they've come up with stops, then they've shot themselves in the foot twice in 3 games. And you just can't have that, dude. You cannot have this continue to be a thing where you work so hard, you come up with stops, especially as rare as it's been with this team, and then you make mistakes. It just can't happen. And, you know, I think this is, you know, certainly a situation where you have a defense going up against a quarterback in Justin Fields who's coming off of a concussion, you know, where he's been saying, like, you know, it wasn't the easiest thing to go through. He misses a game for the New York Jets. He's obviously got a lot of pressure on himself as well, because this is probably his last stand of being a starting quarterback. They do have weapons. They do have guys who can make things happen on that side of the football. This Dolphins team's just got to have some intimidation on the other side, man. They gotta have some of those pass rushers get home. They got to make life miserable for a guy like Justin Fields. They got to make life miserable for Breece Hall, for Garrett Wilson. Can they do that? Is that a possibility for this team anymore? And yeah, I love the idea that Anthony Weaver is bringing that out. I guess it's just a matter of, you know, I think with the Dolphins fan, even if you have a good speech, and even if you say have the perfect notes, fans are so sick of words right now. You know, as the great Leroy Horde said, words means words. They need action, Jack. They need it to happen. That's what they need right now. And as goosey as Anthony Weaver's speech was, and it was, even on a loose goose floozy level, it was a goosey speech objectively. They need to be about it. They need to get some takeaways. They need to become something of an impact team. Minka Fitzpatrick, can you welcome yourself to the Dolphins once again? I know it's been a burden for you to be on the Dolphins. You know, it's such a terrible thing. You know, the Steelers are 3-1, you're 0-3. It's like, 2019 all over again for Minka Fitzpatrick. But if you wouldn't mind acting like it's not a true burden to be on this team, that would be cool. Zach Sealer, my faves. If you could, by all means, be a wrecking machine once again, that would be pretty great. If any of these pass rushers want to have a multi-sack game or just make a quarterback's life a living hell for more than just one snap in a game, that would be, I think we would all like that. If we could avoid, even if it was a little squirrely, if we could avoid dumb penalties from the linebackers, that would be A-okay as well. And then the cornerbacks, if they could just keep up to what they're doing. But, man, listen, Anthony Weaver's telling you for the first time, violence is the answer, dude. That's what we need.